Hello Internet, I'm Alleycat, and today we're going to be making the foods from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's beyond me how they managed to release yet another version of Skyrim, but I definitely enjoyed Skyrim Zelda Edition. Today, we'll be tackling the omelet and the apple pie that Link somehow makes on a campfire. I'm not built like that, so I'll just be using a normal stove today. We're going to start by separating the egg yolks from the whites, putting the whites into a large bowl and the yolks into a smaller one. You can use the shell-to-shell method like I did here, or you can throw the eggs in a bowl and pick out the yolks. Just remember not to pop them. Things will be messy if that happens. We're going to want to whip up the egg whites to stiff peaks, which will give the omelet that souffle effect you see on food in the game. We're going to whip it up like we whip up ways to get out of the shrine challenges. Fast and a little concerning. Once your whites are whipped up, season to taste with salt and pepper and grate in some Parmesan cheese. Mix it up and slowly fold it into your whipped up egg whites. Try not to deflate the whites while you're folding it in. You have to be really delicate here, otherwise your souffle omelet will deflate in the pan. Just be patient and it'll all come together eventually. Give it a tap for no reason and we're moving. On the stovetop, add your entire mixture to a hot oil pan and cover for about 4 minutes. The top will steam and inflate while the bottom caramelizes. Put a lid on it that's too big for the pan and wait for it to fog up. Carefully transfer to a plate, add some more cheese, and carefully fold and watch it jiggle. This omelet would go really well with a tomato sauce or anything that has some acidity. Throw some leaves on top for dramatic effect and enjoy. But hold on, what if you want something a little different? Well, this man Link managed to make an apple pie on a campfire, so let's do that, but normally. Dump your apples onto a countertop, about 9 or 8 crisp apples, and peel with your incredibly shitty vegetable peeler. Probably not going to be able to do it as fast as me, but try your best to do it in under a minute. I got tired of peeling, so I removed one, but watch that peeler twirl. Chop all of your apples into medium-sized pieces and transfer into a large bowl. Make sure it's big enough or you'll be caught lacking like when you went to Death Mountain for the first time. Add your spices. Here I'm using some cinnamon, ginger, and allspice. Some grated nutmeg. You're going to want it freshly grated. About 1.5 cups of sugar. Pour it as dramatically as Link is when he falls off a mountain. 1/2 cup of brown sugar and a small pinch of salt. Also add in the juice and zest of 1 lemon. This will stop our apples from oxidizing. And a tablespoon of flour. Give it a good mix or toss and set aside. Now we'll make the crust. We all know how the pie crust gets made, but the only difference here is to use extra flour, about 10 ounces, because we're going to need a top and bottom for our pie. Make sure it's cool before we start because we're going to be making 2 crusts. Once we get it out of the fridge, cut in half and roll out into big enough for your pie dish. Probably 3mm, but to be honest, I don't know exactly, so just do it. Roll it onto your pin and transfer it to your dish, making sure to push it into the corners, not stretching it. Do the same with the second piece and set aside. Though admittedly, you should do this after docking your pie crust and transferring your apple filling to said pie crust. But just lay it on top and tuck in the excess into the dish under the bottom pie crust. You can probably trim off any excess, but I was lazy and decided to just tuck it under. Crimp the edges because it looks cool by pushing your thumb between 2 fingers and cut a hole in the middle so the steam has somewhere to go. Brush it down with a beaten egg and transfer it to a 400-degree oven for about an hour. Make sure to check in on it though so it doesn't burn. Let cool for another hour and cut yourself a piece, admiring how good it looks. Honestly, I got a little overwhelmed because of how many foods there are in this game, but I'm down to do another part in the future. But instead of doing the main quest, I think I'll go collect all the Koroks or something.